over the world, governments are now prosecuting whistleblowers who expose theft, corruption. We saw the NSA involved in a bunch of thieving. One of their people blows the whistle on it. They indict him. He just got probation last week. We see this whistleblower being killed, telling neighbors they're coming to kill me, hiding in his house in the dark. The police show up and tell the press, don't worry, nothing going on here. And then talking to Tony Gosling, he's talking about conservative members of the Conservative Party instead of the David Cameron carbon tax internationalist, who were just, part two of Gordon Brown, trying to basically dominate England and control it. Is that what you were getting at, Tony Gosling?
Yes, Alex. I mean, essentially, we're talking about a lot of retired military, a lot of retired professional people really make up the establishment. And the establishment in this country is like a big oil tanker. Cameron is trying to turn that oil tank around, failing miserably, letting down the party. Many people in the party, including Christopher Shale, who was David Cameron's immediate boss, he died at the Glastonbury Pop Festival a few weeks ago in mysterious circumstances. He was saying in a leaked memo 2 days before he died that the Conservative Party was losing its way, we're a bunch of spivs, and this kind of thing. And so you can see what's going on here. You've got basically Cameron is a kind of infiltrator inside the Conservative Party, and they've realised this now, the Tory Party, or at least many of the traditional Conservatives in the establishment, and they're trying to get rid of him because they know he'll lose the next election and destroy the economy if they let him stay there.
And you've got all these deaths taking place, which shows this is only the tip of the iceberg. Blackmail, private intelligence groups, you name it going on. Stephen Corbett, what do you, Stephen Corbett, James Corbett, I was playing Stephen Corbett earlier, James Corbett, a Corbett Report. What do you make of this war on whistleblowers all over the world, whether it's the D.C. Madam or whether it's NSA people or now this whistleblower, and then out of the gates, the government saying, no foul play, move along?
Right. Well, it's pretty obvious what the agenda here is overall, and that's to try to discredit anyone who does step forward with information from behind the scenes, because obviously that's the type of thing that can bring down governments. And I had a report up recently about the types of organizations that are supposed to be protecting whistleblowers, like the Project on Government Oversight and other groups like that, that are supposedly about saving the whistleblowers and protecting them, but are, actually funded by the very foundations that are run by the Rockefellers and Carnegies and the usual suspects who have a vested interest in making sure that the truth doesn't get out. But I think another aspect of this whole Murdoch scandal that I hope doesn't get lost, and I've got a huge video report going up in the next couple of hours on CorbettReport.com, so I hope people will get that out, because it contains some of the clips of for example, Murdoch talking about how he tried to use his media in the United States to shape the Iraq war policy and to try to promote the Bush war doctrine.
He said that in Davos 2 years ago.
That's right, exactly, to Bilderberger Charlie Rose, who was interviewing him at the time. And I also got the clip of the Fox PR propaganda video that they put out about how they deliberately, consciously insert global warming propaganda into as many different shows as they possibly can, so that they can help indoctrinate people into the green agenda.
While leading the conservative movement, just like David Cameron is a wolf in sheep's clothing, leading the Tea Party opposition type folks in his country. Absolutely on target.
Take a look at James Murdoch, the guy who's obviously been being groomed to take over the whole kit and caboodle once Papa Murdoch dies. He's not only a non-executive director of GlaxoSmithKline, the wonderful, nourishing manufacturer of all those good, hearty, healthy vaccines, but he's also married to a woman who works for the Clinton Climate Initiative. So we have another billionaire family that's so obsessed with carbon footprints and all of this, and the neo-eugenics of depopulation. So again, it just keeps going down.
And that's why they've got Bill O'Reilly endorsing carbon taxes and VAT, because the big bankers in Murdoch are pretty much exempt from taxes. They want to raise our taxes. So in reality, they're funding Hillary Clinton and the rest of it. And
News Corp paid negative taxes last year.
Yeah, I'm going to go into overdrive. Main show's over. Internet only coming up. Stay with us. Retransmissions coming up. We got 5 more minutes left live. And I could have Tony Gosling, James Corbett on, Stephen Corbett on for hours, discussing this News Corp thing. This is not just about phone hacking. This is a much larger situation. That's why these deaths are involved. And I wanted to go back to Tony Gosling and then finish up with James Corbett. Tony, looking at the tea leaves, from across the pond, it looks like News Corp is floundering around, even though their stock of News International and the News Corp went up yesterday after the hearing. Do you think Murdoch's going to be able to survive this? Where do you see this going?
I really don't think Murdoch can survive, because it's like an express train, this story. There's so much more to go. I can tell you where I think this is going in the direction next, which was hinted at a couple of times in the House of Commons debate today, which is to do with the official vetting systems that are used to vet various individuals who are working in central government, and particularly in Downing Street. And this is a really explosive issue, which is being now looked at, and vetting is obviously completely nonsense. Andy Coulson, this guy who's it now seems is a major criminal, has been working in Downing Street for the last 2 years. He only resigned fairly recently. But this was several people are now asking, what about this vetting system that said that Andy Coulson was a fit guy to work for you, Mr. Cameron? So yes, this is coming home to Cameron. I think Cameron ultimately will have to resign over this.
Why are they saying this hurts the Queen?
I think the Queen is trying to stay a little bit away from it. But let's not forget, right, the vetting system is absolutely crucial. They try and keep it secret, but the company that does the London Underground security system is an Israeli firm which wasn't properly vetted, and this is run by this guy, Daniel Bodner. It's called Verint Systems, and they were Converse Technologies until they changed their name. And as you know, this is the same company that was responsible for the massive Murdoch Scandal around about 2000. And this is the Israeli military running a private firm which is running all of the security on the London Underground system. These are the kinds of lapses in vetting, which I think is where this story is now heading.
Well, they're not lapses. If they can't get British intelligence to do what they're told, they'll bring the Israelis in.
They would much rather have a company which is actually accountable to do things like public transportation, security. This is what the passengers and the people of London want. But what's happening is they're using these crooked and corrupt vetting agencies to actually implant the enemy into the heart.
Sure. Tony, it's clear we're going to have to get more updates from you this week and next week as this develops. Thank you so much for spending time with us.
And I don't look at Murdoch anymore. This man is Moloch.
I understand. Moloch Murdoch. Thank you, Tony. We got a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Last word. James Corbett, go ahead.
Well, okay, just to back up what I said before the break, News Corp made a $10.5 billion or so dollars in pre-tax profit over the past 4 years, 2007 to 2010, and they paid, guess how much taxes? They paid negative $4.5 billion. They actually got $4.5 billion back in taxes. So this is exactly the type of crony capitalist system that we've been unfortunately force-fed into, and that's exactly why these types of mega conglomerates are always going to be able to buy whatever politicians they need to get whatever regulation they need to do whatever they want. And that's exactly why I think ultimately the real solution to this is in the hands of the people, because the people vote with their dollars, and if they don't support these massive mega corporations, they will fail. I mean, we can make a difference, and I think we have to start doing that, because clearly the government's not going to do it for us, and the police agencies aren't going to do it for us. This scandal is too wide, too big, but again, I think this is a golden opportunity for people who are trying to expose this type of collusion, because here it is right out in the open. It's playing itself out on TV for the dumbed-down sheeple to imbibe every night, and they can't get away from it. This is a golden opportunity to shove this in people's faces and really expose what the system is doing.
Well, I like the area you got into earlier, how they lead the carbon tax groups, they lead the forced inoculation groups, the Murdoch family. They admit they propagandize for global warming taxes, and then they lead the opposition to the global warming movement so they can have it falter at the key moment. They're behind Rick Perry, Al Gore's former chief of staff in Texas. I mean, it is just incredible. And they run the fake conservatives in England, and that's coming to a head. Retransmission starts now. Visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the site, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.